Recording. All right, so we're gonna start with the warm-up that we see in front of us on this PowerPoint slide. And we're gonna try to accomplish using some of the skills we may or may not have learned on Monday to answer this question here. It says, how much will you spend in total at Best Buy if you buy a $699 smart TV that is on sale for 35% off if you have to pay 6% sales tax? Okay, so what do I do? How do I solve this? What's my first step? The first step is not to look at Mr. G like he's crazy. That is not the first step. I know you thought it was, but it's not the first step. What should we do first?
Make the percentage 35 a whole number instead of a percent.
I mean, make it a decimal.
Decimal, yes.
Yes, of course. Yes, so we need to make that 35% into a decimal. And the way we turn 35% is into a decimal is we move the decimal point, or we start at the back of the number and we move it 2 places to the left. So instead of 35%, we're going to be working with 0.35. What am I going to do with that 0.35?
Times it by the 699.
Yeah, I'm going to multiply it by the price of the TV. All right, so I'm going to do 699 times 0.35. I'm just going to line it up so that it's easier for me to see. All right, so that is going to be that's so 5, 16, 14, 4, 2. I have 2 decimal places. Okay, so I'm going to be saving $244.65, right? That's what 35% off is. So now what do I do with this discount?
Okay, hold on. You gotta, hold on. Okay, well, what happened at Jatu? Okay, so what happened with Jatu? So I'm gonna say you gotta. What you gonna do with the when you gonna do with that discount? You may have to multiply. Well, I know you gotta multiply with the 6. Not that way, but.
So my next step is not going to be to multiply. I have my discount. So now what do I do with my discount?
Okay, do with the discount. You add to add. Well. Oh wait, shoot. Okay,
Subtract it from the cost of the TV.
Yes, so my next thing is going to be to subtract it from the cost of the television. So I have $699 is my original price. I figured out what my discount is by multiplying it by the 35% off. That discount now has to be, that discount now has to be applied. Okay, I have to subtract it now. Okay, so I have to take that $699. I have to subtract from it the discount, and that's going to give me my sale price on my television. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and subtract it. So I have my $699. Okay, maybe I don't. Okay, here we go. All right, I have $699, and I'm going to subtract from it $244.65. All right, so that's going to leave me with
35. But then So basically so basically when you subtract it down, it'll be $454.35. I get that one.
That's right. Okay, so now this is my sales price or my sale price for my TV. Now what do I need to do? There is still yet another step. I am not done.
Yeah, I guess what they say, and you had the 6%, and also you had the 6%, and so basically you had to multiply the 6, multiply when you, it'll be 0.06.
Good. Okay, so I have to turn this 6% into a decimal. Again, I go 2 places to the left, 1, 2. So I have 0.06, and I'm going to multiply that to my sale price. All right. So I take my 454.35, and I'm going to multiply it. Multiply it in this top corner here. So I'm running out of space. I'm going to multiply it by 0.06. Okay. Sorry, all of my
I know that.
in the way. All right.
Well, try to do what you bet you can. I'll say that.
All right, so we're going to multiply it. It's going to be 30, right? And that's going to be 21. It's going to be 26. It's going to be 32. It's going to be 27. All right, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And money stops in the second decimal place. So, and there's a 1 after this 6. So I just leave it as $27.26 worth of sales tax. What do I do with that sales tax?
Do the sales tax. Okay, so now you, and then I'm gonna say you're gonna drop it. All right, add it. Say you wanted them. So with that, how much you spend, you make one.
Add it to the sale price.
Very good. I got to add it to the sale price.
Yeah, I just heard one.
Very good. Very good. I saw that Ebony said that. Delonte said that. Very good. So I need to add it to my sale price. So I take the $454.35 and I add to it $27.26. Right, I'm gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna take my 454.35 and add to it 27.26. All right, that's gonna give me 11, 6, 11, 7. So I'm gonna have to pay $471.61 for that TV from Best Buy. Okay.
No, but
So after the sale and the sales tax, this is what I have to pay for that television. All right, $471.61.
yeah, but think about that. Kind of like a lot of. That's only a lot of money. A lot of money when you're trying to pay for the whole for a TV, but that's like TV. That's like. Yeah,
I honestly don't know how much TVs cost. I made that number up. I haven't bought a TV in forever.
I to tell you one thing, I ain't buying no TV. I ain't buying that much money for a TV. That's not a thing. Somebody, I'm not like somebody do that TV. They think, oh, they can have it on their deal, and they find out at the end of the night someone's dealing with.
All right. So the important parts here of the process. Remember that we cannot use a percent when we're doing our math. We always have to turn the percent into a decimal. We turn the percent into a decimal by moving 2 places to the left. All right, if there's no decimal in the percent, when you see it, it means you start at the end of the percent and just go 2 places to the left. Sometimes that means you have to add a 0 before the number, and that's okay. And once you turn the percent into a decimal, then you're allowed to use it in math, right? Now you can multiply it as needed. You're going to multiply right? And then most of the time when you multiply, that's not the number you might be looking for. And that might be a discount that you need to apply or a sales tax that you need to add. To apply a discount, you must subtract it. To apply sales tax or tip, you have to add it to the number that you just multiplied to get it, okay? So make sure that you're working through those and understanding how to do that. So what we're moving into really, this little section of the math class is what I like to call consumer math, right? When we're talking about all the math that we're doing when we're making purchases, and we are trying to be better consumers, better buyers, right? More effective and efficient buyers. This is what the math that we need to learn, right? Like this is very practical math. It's very useful and math that can be applied to several things, right? This is what we're doing on a daily basis if we're trying to be better shoppers, right? I know a lot of us love bargains. I know I love a bargain. I do not buy things unless I know that I'm spending as little as possible on it. That might takes me a while to buy things. I'm like, let me see if it's cheaper somewhere else. I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna go ahead and wait. I might need it, but I'll still wait. So this is the kind of process of math that it's helpful for us to learn in many ways, right? We don't need to just learn it for a test, right? These things are on our tests and we are going to be tested on it, but it's also just efficient math for us to learn to be better consumers and people, all right? So this is our little consumer math section. For the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing things that revolve around being better consumers and more aware of what's happening when we buy things. All right. Any questions about this warm up? All right. Sounds good. All right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go into Schoology. Make sure you're in your Math Skills 4 class. You're in week 5. And we're going to access practice number 1. And I will walk you all through that right now by switching up what I'm sharing with you. All right, so again, I am in Math Skills 4 with Mr. G, going down to week 5, the only red folder with percents. I'm going to scroll down to practice number 1, markups and markdowns. Okay, practice number 1, markups and markdowns. That's what we're working on today. All right, there's a doc version and a PDF version. Both versions are the same. So I'm going to just open it up in Kami, the PDF version, so that we can work from that together. All right, and that's what we're going to work on. Markups and markdown. All right, so a markup is going to be anytime we have to add something to a price. So markups include tips and taxes, and markdowns are discounts. So we're going to subtract. We subtract the mark. Oh, I did not even show you guys how to get here again. All right. So again, courses, Math Skills 4, week 5, percents, and we're going to go down to practice number 1, markups and markdowns. And I have opened it in Kami already. So a markup, again, tax or tip, markdown is a discount. So we're going to work through the math that we need to do to get those things done and accomplished. All right, 1 second here. Okay, here we go. All right, so I have a $72 game with a 20% discount. So how much is that game gonna cost me? How do I figure it out?
Well, here's the thing I noticed when you say the discount, you may want to change the point percentage to 0.20, 0.2, or either way.
Uh-huh,
And then you have to multiply that by 72.
very good. Okay, so I'm gonna take 72 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.2, or as Marvin suggested, I can multiply it by 0.20. Okay, so let's work that out.
Okay, okay, with that right there, with that amount that you get, well, they say 14. Hold on, 1440. I get that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I see that. I see that in the chat as well. Right. So 1440. What am I going to do with that 1440?
1440. You basically want to find out the discount. So right now you have to, what the discount was. You have to add. You add that. You have to.
You add a discount. What do you do with the discount?
Oh, well, you have to. Oh no, let me just. When you do the discount, you have to. Oh, just basically have to subtract the thing.
Okay, good. So I'm going to take that 1440 and subtract it from the $72. Okay. So I'm going to go back over here. Let's draw that out. I'm going to take my $72 and subtract from it $14.40. Right. So how much is that game going to cost me?
50, about 50, 57, $7.60.
Very good. 57.60, right? Yes, 57.60. I gotta subtract. It's gonna be 57.60. Let me make sure that I did it right. Somebody got a different answer. Yeah, 57.60. All right. Number 2 is a $14 meal with a 20% tip. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did before, right? I'm going to take the 14, I'm going to multiply it by 0.2. Right, and that's going to give me 280. But then what do I do with that 280? It's a tip. So what do I do with it?
You're going to add it to the $14.
I'm going to add it to the $14.
And it's going to be $16.80.
Perfect. Okay. Number 3 says I have a $24 lunch with a 15% tip. So what do I do here?
Well, that's usual. Well, that's easy. You change the 50% 50% the decimal, 1.15.
And multiply it by 24. Okay, good.
And then we're 20, 81, and put another one, and that'll give you $3.60. No,
Good. So I have $3.60. What do I do with that 360?
you basically want to try to add it up to 20.
Good. You're gonna add it to 24. Perfect. All right. So I take my $24. I multiply it by 0.15. Right. I'm gonna get 360. And then I take that 360 and subtract it from $24. 360, not 260. Okay, and that should leave me with $20.40.
Wait a minute, I thought it was a 15% tip. So aren't you adding it to the $24?
Yep. You're right. Good. All right. So we add tips. So it's $27.60. Very good. Where's my plug? Okay. All right. Number 4, I have an $18.95 football with a 15% discount. So just like with number 3, I'm just going to take that $18.95 and multiply it by 0.15. Got to do that math. What's that going to give me?
Mr. G, I thought we were supposed to move 2 places over.
We did. So we have 15%, right?
Yeah, and
So
Matoya,
isn't it supposed to be 0.15?
That's what I have right here.
Oh, it looked like 1.5. Oh, okay, I couldn't see it. Okay, my apologies.
Let me try to clarify a little bit. Yeah, it is definitely 0.15. Yeah, it's 0.15. And this is 0.15 over here as well. Yeah. Good question. Always ask. You never know when I'm going to screw something up. Okay, so that's 94.75. All right, 0 here, and we have 5, 9, 8, 1. Add it up. 14, 18, 2. And we have 4 decimal places, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how we have to move over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Money ends at the 4, right? At the second decimal place is where money ends. The next number after the 4 is a 2. So I can just keep that 4 a 4. So I have $2.84. That's my discount. And because it's a discount, unlike a tip, I need to subtract it. So when I have $18.95 and I subtract $2.84, I'm gonna put it over here so we see it. $18.95 minus $2.84. Should be $16.11. Maybe. Let's see. Perfect. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. Let's try 5 and 6. And we're gonna switch it up. All right, so number 5, I have a $14.99 clock, and it's a 10% discount. What do I do when I have 10%?
Change that to 2.1 to change it to 2.1.
I could do that, right? Yes. But is there an easier way? Is there something else I can do?
Cause I knew what I thought. I knew about you had to change that 10% to 0.1. I know what not.
What did we learn yesterday about 10%?
Jeez, I can't remember that one. Damn.
Or not yesterday, Monday. It's been 2 days, excuse me. I
Yeah,
keep
that's
forgetting that we have 2 days off. What did we
Okay.
learn about 10%? Or who remembers what we can do with 10%? It's a shortcut. Yes, I can multiply it by 0.1. But do I need to do that?
Mm.
What do I do with 10%? 10% means I just have to move my decimal one place to the left.
Yeah.
That saves me some time. I just have to move my decimal one place to the left for 10%. So whenever I have 10%, whether it be tax or tip or whatever, all I need to do is move my decimal place one place to the left. So then I'm looking at 1.499. Sorry, let me go back to my 1.499, right? And 9 is where money ends. But the
Yeah.
next number after this 9 is another 9, so you have to go up to the next number. So this is going to make this discount
Oh, they
$1.50.
$1.50.
Okay, so whenever I have 10%, I don't really need to do the multiplication. I can do that. I can do it. It's going to give you the same answer,
Yeah.
right? But I don't need to work all of this out, all of these steps here, because it's going to give you the same thing, right? I have 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. Oh, look, I ended up with 1.499, which I have to round up to 150. Okay, so when we have a 10% discount, remember that we don't need to do that multiplication step because it's a really easy way to figure out 10%. It's just to move the decimal one place to the left. Okay, so we have 1.499, which we round up to $1.50. And since it's a discount, I'm going to subtract that $1.50 from the $14.99. So what's that going to give me as my final answer?
Yeah, okay, when I give you a final answer, okay, that'd be $13.40 or $13. Someone just say $13.50. I done it.
So I take away $1.50, it's going to give me 49.
Yeah.
Right, 9 minus 5 is going to give me 4. Yeah, so 49. So 13.49. So 10% is one of those shortcuts I want us to keep in our brains. It helps to save just a little bit of time, right? When we think about 14%. We can do something similar with 20%. It's a little bit more complicated. And so that's not necessarily something that you might want to keep in your mind, but I will show you how to do 20% as well. Since we've already done it, we've already looked at it. So the same thing that we just did to get 10%, we just moved the decimal place one place to the left, right? So in a case up here, like for number 1, where we have 20%, it would do that, move it one place to the left, you get 7.2. And then all we would need to do is multiply that by 2 to get the whole discount, right? And so we would get the 14.4. So it's not really that much of a shortcut, but that's another way to get the 20%. Again, move your decimal one place to the left and then multiply by 2. When you move it one place to the left, you get 10%. 20% is twice as much as 10. So that's another way to apply a discount or think about that discount. It's in that way as well. Right? But try to remember 10%. 10% is a much easier way to do it than to multiply that out. It's gonna save you a lot of time. You're gonna see every time you do 10%, you're gonna end up with the same numbers anyway. You're gonna be like, oh, why did I do all of that? That's ridiculous. I can just move the decimal over once. All right. What about this jacket over here? That's $74.95, and I have 5% tax that I need to apply to it. I'm gonna take my $74.95
Yeah,
and
you
then multiply it to
1.5.
what?
That's them will give you like 3 point.
What am I gonna multiply it to?
You multiply the 5.
0.5.
0.5?
0.05. You know?
0.05.
Oh, 0.05.
Thank you. Not 0.5 because I gotta move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2, 2 places.
Mm.
And basically with that, they'll give you like 3.74. Well, 374.25. Can I know that? 374.773. But you might want to change that. Probably want to go leave that 3.74.
Okay, that sounds good to me, right? So I take my $74.95 and multiply it by 0.05. This is a 4. See? All right, so 5 times 5, 25. Carry my 2, 47. Right, 24, 37. And I have 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so because the 4 is followed by a 7, I need to round it up to a 5. So I have $3.75 that I'm going to be adding as my tax. All right, okay, so. So I take my $74.95 and I add $3.75. What's my total?
Okay, it'd be 10. Oh, I know 5 plus 5 is 10. 17. 17. Hold on. Wait a minute. Like, so 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 17 is. But then, no, 7.5. No, okay, so we know 10.10 and that 17, 78, and then 78. It'll be like $78.70.
Great. Sounds good. Yep. So we got it. 78.70. Perfect. Okay, so it's just going to be $78.70. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to have a couple of you try some of these other ones. So we have a 6% markup on so number 7, I'm actually going to assign it just based on who was here on Monday first. I'm going to prioritize those of you who had more practice with it. So I'm going to assign number 7 to Renee and number 8 to Marvin. I'm going to have you all work on those. Number 9, I'm going to assign to Ebony. Right, and the rest of you all were not here on Monday, so I'm not going to torture you all too much. But of the rest of you all, if I did not assign one to, is there anyone who'd like to volunteer to do number 10?
I'll do it, Mr. G.
Who was that?
Videra.
Okay, Videra can do number 10. And Toya, you can actually try number 11. Yay. Let's move it up a little bit. Perfect. All right, any volunteers for 12?
I'll do 12.
Who's that?
Renee.
No, Renee, you already have one. You're doing number 7.
Oh, okay.
You can't have 2 right now. I appreciate it though. I appreciate the eagerness. I love it. I need somebody else. I need a new person. I want a new victim. I mean, a new volunteer.
I'll take 12.
All right. Yes, that's what I like to hear. For that bravery. Okay. Any takers for 13?
I'll take it, Mr. G.
You know I was going to assign it to you anyway, so thank you, Lucretia. All right, so I'll give you guys another minute to work on your own, and I'm going to work on your own, and then we're going to start with number 7. Just another minute, you guys will be fine, I'm sure. Okay, let's do this. Let's start with number 7.
Okay, 185 times 0.06.
Good.
Okay, 30 and 6 and 8, 1 carry 32, bring down 6, 5, 11. And then we have 3 zeros, so it's 11.10.
Okay, good.
So then we take 185 plus 11.10.
All right.
And let's see. Equals $196.10.
Perfect. All right, it's $196.10 DVD player. Very good. All right, love it. We got a markup. When we have a markup, we're adding. Perfect. That's good. And we move our decimal place 6%. Definitely becomes 0.06. That's one of the hardest ones. Whenever we have a single digit percent, people always mess up that percent. Please try to remember you have to go 2 places to the left. It's going to be a 0 in front of it. Good work. Thank you so much. Number 8. I think 8 I assigned to Marvin. I think that's,
Yeah, hold on. I'm just sorry, just muted myself. But
no worries.
all right, so 213 times 2 point times a point time point on point 3 or 30.
Okay.
You import it. That basically will give you $6.30. $6.30.
$6?
Oh no,
Only
it's
one
$63.
Okay.
It's $63 and point.
Okay, good.
Not saying or 90. I do one point, and then you have to okay. Then it tells you that you have to add it up on the account.
So how do I do the discount?
The account you subtract. You have to.
Okay, good.
You have to subtract that one.
All right, very good.
All right, and then we zero. Cross out the 13. Make that to 12. Right down. Be 1 and It won't be, and it'll be four, and then that would be $1, $149.10.
Okay, good. So my jacket is now gonna cost me $149.10. When I have a discount, I have
Good count. You subtracted.
very good. So I have $2.90.
That got that right.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much, Marvin. That is correct. $149. Okay. Number 9, I think I gave that one to Ebony.
Yes.
Okay.
That there was 149 times 0.40 or
I'm gonna multiply it by 0.4. Okay.
which gave me 59.6 or $59.60.
59.60, you said?
Yes. I subtracted that from 149 because it was
Uh-huh.
a discount, which gave me a total of $89.46.
All right. For whatever reason, I can barely hear, but you said it gave you $80?
89.
$89. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes, this looks good. You definitely applied your discount correctly. There's definitely a lower value. 4 times 4. Okay, perfect. Yep. $89.40. Perfect. Okay, yep, that works. Love it. Okay, number 10. There.
Okay, so I multiplied $7.95 to 0.15.
Very good.
And I came out with 11925. I put my decimals 2 places. I'm sorry, I went 4 places to the
Good.
left. Yeah, which gave me basically $1.19.
Very good.
And I applied that. I added that to the $7.95, and it gave me $9.14 in total.
Was it supposed to
As
be
the tip.
185?
Very good. $9.14. Excellent. Yes. So 9.14 here, 89.40 here. You guys are doing great. I love it. Yes. Okay. Right. So we got a markup, and a discount, another discount, and a tip. Perfect. Everything is looking good. Videra was very good about making sure she moved over 4 decimal places and then stopping at the 9, right? Where money stops is where she stopped. And because the next number after the 9 is a 2, she did not have to round up. So she took that $1.19, she added it to the $7.95 and got $9.14. Very good. All right, and so next up is 11 with Toya. This is the word problem. I'll go ahead and read it. It says, Enrique took his family out for dinner. He planned to leave a 15% gratuity on the bill. What is the total cost if the bill is $123.50? He's adding a 15% gratuity, and a gratuity is just another word for tip, right? So what's his total gonna be? All right, Toya said his total is 142.02. Great. All right, so Toya got that by multiplying the $123.15 by 0.15.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we're gonna go ahead and do that. And give us 25, 32, 17.
Thank you.
We have 61750. Just gonna rewrite it because I can't see it. Okay, and we're gonna put a 0 down, another 0, 5, 3, 2, 1. Add it all up. 0, 5, 12, 1, 8, 1. The 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 1. We have $18.53.
Ah,
1853, because we've got to round up that 2 to a 5. It's actually 1853. So when we add that to this, it's going to give us 142.03, not 02. They're going to ask us for that extra penny. They're going to be very petty and be like, where's my penny? I need my money. Okay. All right. So we do have to round that one up by 1 cent. So it's actually 142.03 for that meal. So it's 1853 that we're adding as the tip. And so in total, it's gonna cost us $142.03. Total there. Let me go ahead and erase some of these other things to get them out of the way. All right. Delonte is up with number 12.
I don't know how I got it, but I came up with 45.
Came up with
It was a
45.
tough. It was a tough one.
we didn't even do.
Okay. All right, so a radio is on sale for $50. This price represents a 10% discount from the original price. What is the original price to the nearest nickel? So we already got
Oh,
it.
my bad. I said 45. My bad. All right. 65.
65, okay.
Mhm.
So you got 65. What did you do? Walk me through it.
I don't know, Mr. G.
You don't know what you did?
I don't know. I was playing with some numbers in my head.
Just playing with some numbers in your head, okay? All right. So this is a hard one, right? I gave this one, you just happen to choose one of the hardest ones. So this one is giving you the final price and the discount, and it's asking you how we got there, right? So this is a situation where we have to kind of set up what is known as a proportion. That's going to be the best way to solve this kind of a problem, right? We're trying to figure out how much the original price is if this is a 10% discount, okay? So the way to do that is to set up a proportion, and I'll show you guys how to do that. We have to do 2 ratios and set them equal to each other. So we know that the radio right now is $50, right? So we're gonna put that on one side, but we're trying to figure out the original price of the radio. We don't know what that is. So we're gonna put an X to represent that price that we don't know. We know that that is equal to, that X is equal to 100% of the actual price, right? That's the original price, so that's 100%. But this price, this $50, is what percent of the original price?
10.
No, it's 10% off the original price, right? So it is 90% of the original price. Okay,
Gotcha.
it is 90% of the original price. All right. To make this a little easier for myself, I am going to go ahead and get rid of these matching zeros that I have here at this end. So I'm going to simplify this fraction or this proportion. 50 over X is equal to 9 over 10. And to solve this, I have to cross multiply. All right, so I have to do 50 times 10. What is 50 times 10?
500.
What? Who said it? I didn't hear him. What?
500.
500. Okay, great. So 500 is equal to this other part of the cross multiplication, 9 times x. And don't worry, I did not set you guys up. The rest of the day, we're going to be looking at proportions. I knew this was going to happen. So, all right, so we have 500 equal to 9 times x. So in order to solve this, the last thing I need to do is divide both sides by 9. So how many times does 9 go into 500? How many times does 9 go into 50? 5 times. Good. 9 times 5 is 45. I get 50 again. I get another 5. So if I'm going to keep going, it's 55.55. Right. So what is the original price of the nearest nickel? It's going to be $55
60 cents.
and 60 cents to the nearest nickel, because I got to round up. There's going to be nothing but 5s, right? When I round that 5 up, it's going to become a 6. So the nearest nickel is actually 60 cents.
That was my first answer, but
50. This was your first answer?
yeah,
Why
it
didn't
was
you
55.
put your first
It was
answer?
55 though. My first answer was 55.
So how you get from 55 to 65? Why you went so high?
I was trying to figure it out in my head. I ain't know what to do.
Okay, so what is this? So this is the way to figure this out. This is the proportion, all right? And we're gonna do proportions for the rest of class today. After we finish this page, we're gonna look at how proportions work and how to set them up and how to solve them. But yeah, this problem, you would need to do a proportion and the answer would be 55, 60. Okay, 55, 60, because it says to the nearest nickel. So we got to round all the way up to the next nickel, so the next 5 cents, which would be 55, 60.
That's too much work.
Listen, Don, they told me everything about hard work. So.
Somebody said something in the chat. 55, 60. Good. 55, 60. Proportions are fun, and if you end up taking the GED examination, as you know, a lot of you are not going to take it, but the GED math test, about 40% of it is proportional reasoning. So being able to decide that this is equal to this, but this piece is missing kind of thing, and try to figure out how to solve that. All right, so a lot of it is proportional reasoning, thinking about how to come up with proportions. How do I make similar things seem a bit different? All right, so now we have number 13 with Lucretia. 13, 13, 13.
Okay, it says Lana buying a computer that normally sells for $890.
Uh-huh.
Say the state sales tax rate is 6%.
Yep.
Okay, I converted the 6%. I multiplied the 890 with the 6% sales tax. Got 5340. I added that to the 890, and my final answer was 943.40.
Perfect. It sounds good to me. Yep, looks good. 890 plus 5340. Yep, so that's going to give you 943.40. Love it. Good. Great work. All right, any questions about any of these problems from 7 to 13? Besides the proportion, we will do proportions again. So don't ask about it. Not yet. Give me a second. I want to show it to you again before you worry about it. But any other questions about these 7 to 13? Okay, let's clear these. Finances. All right, last one, number 14, and then we're going to move on to this proportions activity. So find the price of a $35 basketball that is on sale for 50% off of the regular price. So how would we solve that? What's the traditional way to solve that? We would just do the 35, right? And then multiply it by 0.5, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So 50%, of course, is one of those easy percents, right? In the sense that we should be able to figure out 50% without necessarily having to do the multiplication. The multiplication might be easy, you might find it easy, you can do it, it'll be fine, all right? But 50% is the same as just dividing whatever you have by 2. So whatever half of 35 is going to be your final price, okay? Or your discount or whatever, because it's going to be both. 50% is one of those easy, super easy ones. You can do it this way, right? And we're going to end up with
17.5 or 17.
right? So 17.50 is the
Dollars.
discount, and it is also the sale price, right? Because when you subtract 17.50 from 35, you're still going to get 17.50 because 17.50 is half of 35. So when you do when you divide 35 by 2, you're going to get 17.50. Okay, so 50% is the same as a division by 2. All right, so it's one of those other ways to do it. So if you're working with an even number, it's easier to look at it that way as just a division by 2, right? So if I tell you that something is 15% off of $42, 50%, excuse me, not 15, 50% of $42, you're like, oh, so it's 21 bucks, okay? So 50% is just a division by 2. All right, so far we've learned how to do shortcuts for 10%, 20%, and 50%. Okay. The other one that's a pretty easy shortcut is 25%, which is just a division by 4. Or divided by 2 twice. However you want to look at it, but 25% is a division by 4. Okay. All right, so remember that a markup means you have to add, so those are taxes and tips, and a mark down is a discount, meaning you have to apply the percent, you have to multiply it and then subtract, okay? All right, multiply and add for a markup, multiply and subtract for a markdown or a discount. All right, so I have a new activity for us now. We're going to take a look, like I said, at proportions. All right, this also is your assignment that is due today, right? This assignment should be turned in today. If you are not watching this live with us, this is practice number 1. So make sure that you turn this in by 7 o'clock today to get credit for class today, right? This is what you have to do to get credit for class today. What we did as a class together, make sure it's turned in by 7 o'clock. If you're not in the live class, this is what you need to do to get credit for today. All right. And for the rest of you, I'll let you guys know what you have to do later. All right. Here's the activity that we're working on. It is proportions. Okay. All right. So when we're looking at proportions and using them to solve percents, the percent that we're looking for is always over 100, and it really should be on the right side of the proportion. The part that we're trying to find should be the top part, that is the percent, and the total is at the bottom. So this is how you set up a proportion, all right? You put the part over the total and you set it equal to the percent over 100. So if you're missing any of these pieces, right, this is how you figure out the piece that's missing. The 100 is always going to be there, right? Because it's always going to be out of 100%. A percent means out of 100. So this 100 is always going to be there, but one of these other pieces might be missing, okay? So as an example, if I were to ask you, right, what percent is 50 of 70, right? So what percent is 50 of 70, right? So you don't know the percent. The percent is what you're looking for, but you have 50 and 70. So you would set up your proportion, right? The 100 always stays. The percent, I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the percent. But what do I have as my total? What is my total?
70.
70. So then my 70 goes down here and my 50 goes up here, okay? And then to find that percent, I would cross multiply, right, and do what we just did before, okay? Again, I have matching zeros. I want to save myself some time. I don't want to work with these big numbers. I'm going to get rid of these matching zeros over here. So I make it 5 over 7 is equal to the percent, or I can put X over 100. I don't know what the value is, so it becomes X. I'm going to cross multiply. 5 times 100 is equal to 500. 500 is equal to 7 times X. I have to divide both sides by 7 to figure out what percent that is. So how many times does 7 go to 5 into 50? 7 goes in 7 times. I have 1 left over. 7 goes into 10 1 time. I have 3 left over. And I can keep going for a little while. 7 goes into 34 times. 28, I have 2 left over. And I'm about to stop because this is going to take too long. But something like 71.42%, right? That's what I have so far of that. But that's just an example of how you work that out. If you're missing the percent, you can do it that way, right? You don't need to write any of this down. This is just an example, but if you want to, I'll give you a second to scribble down that note or take a picture of it. We're gonna do another example where we're missing something different. So part over total is equal to percent over 100. Okay, I'm gonna erase this. Right, what about if I asked you the question, all right, 85, right, is 60% of what number? 85 is 60% of what number? How would I set up my proportion in order to try to solve that?
So you have your percent, so 60 would be your percent
So I would put 60 over 100.
over 100.
Mm-hmm.
And 85 would be the part.
Very good. 85 is the part, and I'm missing the total.
Total.
Okay. And so again, we're not going to do this one, but this is how you would set that up. Okay. And this is why it's important to like learn how to do these proportions, right? Because this is what you would do to set it up. Okay. Understand that 85 is the part. I'm missing my total. I know what my percent is. And again, the 100 always stays, right? So that's how you would do that. If I were going to do this, of course, I would always cross out these extra zeros that match at the end to make the numbers a little bit smaller for me as I cross multiply and do my division. Okay. Last example. I mean, there's a ton of examples that follow this, but the last one I'm going to do with you all is to make sure we cover all of our bases. Is just the traditional question, right? The one that we normally answer by doing the multiplication. Right. This is our normal question, which is, what number is 45% of 80? Right? So how do I set up this proportion? What number is 45% of 80?
$45 is the percent.
Good. And I put it over 100. Good.
Of 80, so that's 80 is the part.
So of 80 means that 80 is actually my total. I'm looking for the number that is 45% of 80. Okay. I'm looking for the number that belongs up here. All right. So if I see of 80, I should know that that's the total. Okay. And that's 45%. This is the one that we solve in the traditional way, right? Where we just do 80 times 0.45. This is what this is going to end up being. It's going to be just a different way of looking at this. All right. But this is what a proportion looks like. This is how we solve proportions. And we're going to go step by step, looking at a few examples just to make sure we get a little bit more practice with it. All right. Okay. Let's go on to the next thing. All right, so this one says, what is 30% of 90? Help me set it up. Where do I put the 30?
Oh, top of the 100.
Good. Where do I put the 90?
So what it's total supposed to be?
Okay. Where do I, and so then this is what's missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So what is 30% of 90? I have n over 90 is equal to 30 over 100. What's my first step? My first step is to write an equation from the cross products. So what does that look like? An equation from the cross products. What is my result when I cross multiply? That's what it's asking me to do. What are my cross products? It's the result of the cross multiplication. So when I cross 90 and 30, what am I going to get? What's 90 times 30?
270.
Almost. We need one
Oh,
more.
you said, hold on, you said 90 times 3?
Not times 30. Times 30.
30. 2,700.
2,700, right? So what I'm going to do is take this and put it up here, right? So my first step is going to be to write an equation for my cross products. It's going to be 100n, right? 100 times n is equal to 2,700.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to simplify my equation. I'm sorry, this is not the first step. Is it? Yes. This is the first step. Right, an equation for my cross products. I'm going to simplify the equation. That's my next step. Excuse me. All right, 100 times n, and then 90 times 30. When I simplify the 90 times 30, I'm going to get my 2,700. Now I'm going to solve the equation. I'm going to solve the equation by dividing both sides by 100. After I divide both sides by 100, I'm going to get my answer, which is 27. Okay. So get your cross products, multiply 100 times n, 90 times 30. Simplify that by figuring out what 90 times 30 is, which is 2,700. And now to solve, I divide both sides by 100. It's going to give me 27. All right. What is 4% of?
Mr. G, can you go back to that slide real quick so I can take a picture?
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I got it.
Great. All right. What is 4% of 50? What do I put in here above the 100?
4.
4.
4. Okay. What goes on the left?
50.
50.
Where?
Bottom.
At the bottom. Good.
And then at the top.
And at the top, I can just put an
Or
X or an N or whatever in the letter I want to choose, right? Okay. So then I'm going to have 100 times X is equal to 50 times 4, right? When I simplify that, it's going to be 100X is equal to, what's 50 times 4?
Time 4 would be 200.
200. All right. And then my final step is going to be to divide that 100 out, right? What am I going to get when I divide both sides by 100? It's going to be X is equal to what?
Okay. Let's see.
It's 200 divided by 100.
2.
2.
2, yeah.
Those are your steps to solving a proportion. All right. All right, what percent of 25 is 12? Where do I put my 12?
0%. 12.
Part. Sorry.
12 is my part. Good. That means 25 is what?
Your total.
Total.
No, yeah, your total.
Okay. And I'm looking for my percent. What percent of 25 is 12? Right. Remember, anytime I see of before the number, that's going to be my total. Okay. Anytime I see of before that number, it's going to be my total. It's a good indicator of the total is the word of. All right. So let's solve it. So where does this go? What step is this? Is this step 1? 25
Yeah.
times n equals 12 times 100, okay. Good. What's step 2?
25 n equals 1200.
Perfect. All right. And then this has to be step 3, right? Solving the equation, dividing both sides by 25. And then my answer is 48. All right, so apparently 12 is 48% of 25. Who knew? All right, that's how you set that up. Is this making sense?
Yes.
You're killing me, Mr. G.
I'm killing you, Mr. That's what you said?
Yeah, you're killing me.
What?
We just jump right into fractions.
These are fractions, these are proportions. They look like fractions. They're
But it's
ratios.
easy. It's easy though. It's easy.
Okay.
Yeah. We guys now have math class at 1 o'clock.
All right, do a couple more. All right, so what percent of 40 is 14? So help me fill this one out. What do I put where?
So 40 is the total.
Okay. And I'm looking for my percent because it says what percent, right? So I can put an X here. Okay. So what does that? So that means that 14 has to go here, right? Okay.
No.
When I cross multiply, it's going to be 100 times 14 is equal to 40 times X. I'm going to simplify it. 14 times 100 is going to give me 1400, right? And that's equal to 40x. And to solve it, what do I need to do to solve it? It's going to be the final step.
Divide both sides by 40.
Divide both sides by 40. So that's going to give me the answer of x is equal to what?
35.
Let me see, I don't even know. 4 into 140.
1400.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Good. Good work. X is equal to 35. Okay. Very good, y'all. All right. I'm going to show you guys your week 5 folder just to remind you all what is due. So if you're watching this back again, make sure you do turn in practice number 1 right here by 7 o'clock tonight. Everyone who is on here with me, you guys already did it with me. I know you did it. So turn it in if you want to. Of course, you need. I know you're on here, so you did it. And that'd be great to just turn it in, just so it's a check mark done for you. But those of you who are not and are watching this back, please turn it in by 7 o'clock tonight. For those of you who are on here but need to get credit for this afternoon, make sure to do practice number 3, which is on proportions, right? It goes through, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to pull it up. it is very similar to what we were just doing, right? You need to solve these questions by setting up your proportions, okay? So you can do practice number 3 for your afternoon credit, or you can just jump right ahead and do the exit ticket. So one of these two things needs to be done by 7 p.m. tonight to make sure you guys get credit for the afternoon class. All right, are there questions for me?
Okay, so we're gonna do
What?
proportion.
Everybody's so silent. I don't believe this for a second.
Well, I mean, that's that way.
This is new stuff. This is all
Well,
brand
I'm in the
new
proportion.
things, proportions and percents, and y'all are good with it?
I'm in the I mean, so without with a proportion, when sometimes, because I think cause let me just say one thing about when you do proportion, about proportion right quick. When you do that stuff, well, sometimes they give you word problem, like for example,
Mhm.
like what for example, they say, some of them, I'm looking at some on number two, they say about some part two, about so much doing the academic way people are students out of so they say, but percentage of how many people that they're absent. Because I'm just looking at on number 18 number 18 on the practice two, I was just looking at practice two now.
Okay, so you're asking me about number 18 on practice 2.
Yeah. Or no, or maybe that practice 3, or maybe that.
Okay, so practice 2 doesn't have a number 18. So you're saying it's practice
3.
3, number 18, right?
Yeah, that.
Uh-huh. So what's the question that you're asking me?
They were saying about doing 146 students out of 680 who attended Lincoln Middle School were absent, and what the percent of were or the absent were. So I just put it there.
So again, we're setting up the proportion, right?
Right.
So you're looking for the percent, right? So you're gonna have an X over 100, and then what is the other side of your proportion gonna look like?
Yeah, it'd be 146 over 680.
Okay, so what's the question you're asking me?
No, because I'm not trying to give you the whole answer. I just want to know how to set it up, and how you set it up in the right way.
Okay, yeah, but so
That's all.
you set it up on the right way, right? Okay, yeah, you set it up already. Yep. All right, any other questions for me? All right, so have a great weekend if I don't see you on Friday for science. And we will come back next week doing some more consumer math stuff. We'll still be working with percents, but in a different way. And we're still going to be doing more consumer math next week. Please do get your things into me by 7 p.m. I put in attendance at 7:30. So if it's not in, I can't give you credit. All right. But if you're here today, you get credit, of course, with me live. But if you don't, I'm not going to be able to give you credit. All right. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.